The computer crashed my homework. What are the trends in academic dishonesty and is technology fueling it? I will explore the new forms of plagiarism, what groups are engaging in the most cheating, the reasons why people are drawn to cheat, and what needs to be done to decrease the amount of academic dishonesty. What is academic dishonesty? Academic dishonesty is a broad umbrella term given to a multitude of infractions that indicate academic misconduct and unethical behavior on the behalf of a student, researcher, or faculty member. For this paper, the focus will be on student academic dishonesty, in particular high school and post-secondary students. The most common form is plagiarism. There also exists cheating, impersonation, technology manipulation, and collusion. What does academic dishonesty look like in the 21st century? Recent trends have researchers referring to plagiarism 2.0, cyber plagiarism, or the new plagiarism. Turnitin.com has listed 10 common infractions of plagiarism in order of severity and frequency. They have put them in 21st century friendly terms in an attempt to broaden the simple definition of literary theft for the new digital native generation. Cloning is the act of submitting someone another's work word for word as one's own. Control-C is a written piece that contains significant portions of text from a single source without alterations. Find and replace is the act of changing keywords and phrases but retaining the essential content of the source paper. Remix is an act of paraphrasing from other sources and making the content fit together seamlessly. Recycle is the act of borrowing generously from one's previous work without citation, which means to self-plagiarize. A hybrid is the act of combining perfectly cited sources with copied passages without citation in one paper. A mashup is a paper that represents a mix of copied material from several different sources without proper citation. A 404 error is a written piece that includes citations to non-existent or inaccurate information sources. The aggregator includes proper citation, but the paper contains almost no original work. A retreat is a paper that includes proper citation, but relies too closely on the text's original wording and/or structure. The next form is digital cheating. This e-cheating is a broad term that includes texting, wireless earpieces, the use of smartphones, consulting the internet, and developing answer databases. These new forms have posed a serious issue to online test taking, as students can easily consult other sources when asked to demonstrate knowledge. Watson and Sautil's 2010 survey showed that students were significantly more likely to obtain answers from others during online tests or quizzes. Classes that administer online multiple-choice tests can be copied and distributed to other students, giving them an unfair advantage. Some universities are combating this by requiring proctored exams at a specific time, but this is counterproductive to the goal of online learning, which is the flexibility to take courses from home or other remote locations. A recent Time magazine article profiled the use of high-tech drones used to detect radio waves being used during mass examinations for college entry in China. These extreme measures beg the question, why are so many students drawn to cheat? Impersonation is a type of fraud which constitutes having someone else take an exam for you. The issue arises with how to confirm if a person really is who they say they are in an online examination. Technology manipulation is the act of deliberately crashing a course management system and is considered a serious academic dishonesty offense. Increasing tech skill on the behalf of students may result in increased delays of course evaluations. Although sometimes not through deliberate technology manipulation, students could use the same excuse of the faculty course management system and internet connectivity failures as the new dog ate my homework excuse of the 21st century. Collusion is working jointly with others when it is not permissible or when the instructor does not authorize working in a group. Students have a hard time distinguishing between collaboration and collusion, so clearly more education on the difference is needed for young learners. Why is academic honesty an issue in today's culture? Because of the impersonalized nature of distance learning, students are being taken away from the eyes of the instructor. The absence of direct interaction and monitoring in online courses can increase the temptation to engage in academic dishonesty and create additional challenges in the prevention and detecting of cheating and plagiarism. Students are feeling also perceived artificialness in writing pages for a paper because they feel like they can plagiarize from the web easily. This liberal use of cutting and pasting has much to do with the added layer of isolationism that the internet contributes to the reader-writer relationship. Because students are growing up with all the resources that technology has brought, the internet has facilitated new ways of behaving dishonestly in their education. Cheating also calls into question the quality of an institution's academic program, the value of its degrees, and the capability of its graduates. Accreditation from universities is losing its value, and a growing trend noted by Szabo and Underwood is for businesses to conduct their own in-house evaluation practices to legitimize the skills of potential work candidates. Who is cheating? In the survey by Szabo and Underwood, they found a disturbingly high number of undergraduate students, over 50%, who indicated that they might cheat under certain circumstances. Similar studies are being conducted in Canada. In a 2006 study conducted by Hughes and McCabe, 75% of the undergraduates surveyed reported committing academic dishonesty. Of those infractions, 73% admitted to cheating on a written assignment and 58% admitted to cheating on a test. Graduate students are not without sin. 35% of graduates surveyed admitted to serious cheating on written work, while only 9% admitted to serious test cheating. There has also been an increased amount of students who create constructed papers from copying and pasting from the internet. Weidman summarizes past studies and indicates subgroups of students that have engaged in academic dishonesty. Of the current findings over the last decade, it seems that males are engaging in more deception than females when learning online, although their rates of internet use are the same. Weidman also notes studies in which non-Westerners have higher rates of academic dishonesty, but point to language and cultural reasons why these rates seem to be higher. For many newcomers, the ideology of the original voice is unfounded, with the belief that there is no original idea or voice. Hence, as Canadians and global classrooms become more diverse, the dishonesty problem appears to increase. There are also studies linking plagiarism and cheating to students with lower grades and academic ability. Our current education structure is not doing enough to support the at-risk students, as our delivery modes have changed. Higher post-secondary enrollment numbers mean less contact time with instructors and less supports for those who are struggling, creating a tempting environment for academic dishonesty. Why are people cheating? We have created a new learning culture in the last few years, one in which communication and information sharing is praised and encouraged. One of the 4 C's of the 21st century skills movement is collaboration. Students are often remixing and remaking original content in their own free time, like fan fiction, DJ music, music sampling, and they often see the benefit in this sort of exercise. This collaborative culture normalizes plagiarism and blurs the lines of originality. While students are explicitly taught plagiarism and cheating is wrong, they seem to live in a world where the consequences of these types of actions are viewed as minimal or non-existent. Thomas and Sassy note that the digital intimacy cultivated in virtual communities may conflict with those of academic English, and the conflicts between the intellectual property conventions of traditional forms of writing and highly social, multimodal compositions boil over into difficult conversations. There is also what Zebu and Underwood refer to as the law of effect, which has been coined by behaviorists. People are driven by unconscious desire to engage in behaviors that yield a positive outcome. Because students view the positive benefits of cheating while weighing what they view as an unlikely or minimal consequence, they are likely to engage in the risky behavior to reap the reward of a higher grade. There are also personal and situational factors involved in cheating. Personal factors include negative attitudes, lack of awareness, lack of competence, and a view that the knowledge was irrelevant to future goals. Situational factors were pressure, viewing penalties as lenient, temptation, and assignments that are too broad. Students may rationalize their academic dishonesty. Because students view the memorization of facts and content as trivial, they may not see the utility in it. Peers are often another influential factor, as noted by McCabe and Hugh. Many students also feel that their teachers are not familiar enough with current technology trends and thus their dishonesty would go unnoticed. Quite simply enough, there could just be a lack of understanding or misunderstanding on the parts of students. The students may not be intentionally cheating, they just simply are uneducated about the process. What can be done to curb academic dishonesty? There are several low-tech solutions as well as more high-tech solutions used to combat academic dishonesty. A high-tech solution would be a remote proctor, which is a type of software that puts in place monitoring for a student taking an online exam. The device has a monitor and a microphone built into it, as well as software. This limits the student's risk of engaging in academic dishonesty. A fingerprint sensor is used at the beginning and at various intervals in the examination to establish identity. A webcam and microphone record the student taking the exam, and a live proctor can review the recordings for any suspicious or deceptive behavior. The software blocks the student access to other programs such as Word files and internet browser. However, there are drawbacks to this method. The unit itself puts added cost on institutions and increases pressure on bandwidth. There are also increased risks for device failure or tampering by students. Institutions must also have trained staff to maintain the equipment. There are ethical issues surrounding privacy as well. Troy University has been employing these digital proctors in their distance education program with positive reviews reported by both students and teachers. However, there is currently little published work on the effectiveness of such automated proctoring systems. It seems more research is needed on whether or not these high-tech devices are actually decreasing cheating. Anti-plagiarism software. Companies like Turnitin, Authenticate, and Plagiarism Checker are all software for academic consumers wanting to check the authenticity of someone submitting writing. There are also free alternatives like Vapor Plagiarism Scanner. Low-tech solutions include changing the format and structure of assignments. This would be relatively easy for our institutions. They could change the weight of online exams or change the format to include more subjective questions that require an in-depth understanding of the content. Changing the exams and the assignments themselves every semester also could decrease dishonest behaviors. The Canadian Council on Learning also suggests breaking assignments and projects into smaller sections, as well as administering open book tests that require application of knowledge. Another low-tech solution, which seems to be the most popular in most universities, is developing a code of conduct and academic integrity policy. The problem with these policies, as many point out, is that they are too vague. McCabe is a proponent of revised code of conduct policies that include student input on policies and suggests having student government involved in the decision-making process regarding student infractions. As discussed earlier, many students are oblivious to the type of academic dishonesty and innocently breach these policies due to misunderstanding and a lack of knowledge. Many institutions are adopting mandatory courses and workshops for first-year students so that they are not learning as they go. Canadian universities like the University of Waterloo and Ryerson are implementing these workshops, although they are not yet mandatory. Weingart and Stevens propose a four-component model to increase academic integrity that they should feel all institutions should be consulting when developing their code of conduct. The four components are community, core values, commitments, and curriculum. The community is allowing all stakeholders' views to be heard. This can be conducted using a survey. They suggest developing strategies based on the responses. Parents of younger students should also be involved in this process. Core values. Using the survey data, develop a mission statement around important core values of respect, trust, and responsibility. This will establish a culture that cheating just doesn't affect an individual, but calls into question the integrity of the education process itself. Linking academic integrity to the school's core values helps the school community make a moral claim regarding cheating, namely that it destroys trust and is unfair to all of those who aren't cheating. Commitments. The institution must foster this culture created by dedicating time, budget, and professional development for teachers. They must also deal with infractions in a timely and fair manner. Curriculum. Making academic integrity lessons part of the curriculum is necessary as many students are oblivious to the forms and risks of dishonest academic behavior. The authors justify this by stating teachers who integrate the theme of integrity into their class expectations and syllabi, moral discussions, and class procedures can reduce cheating. For my closing thoughts, I would do a personal reflection. From the literature reviewed, it seems that not just policing is the issue. The widespread and frequent nature of cheating is hard to pin to just one source, as many contextual factors are involved when a student decides to cheat. That is why multiple interventions are needed to combat this issue. It is vital that schools establish not only a code of conduct, but create a culture that encourages honest and ethical academic practices. We must also reflect on our assessment practices and discuss if they are fair. As a K-6 educator, I feel that these interventions need to start at the earliest possible age. In my experience, students have difficulty not only summarizing ideas, they lack the practice of using higher order thinking, such as synthesizing and evaluating other work. Because there is a lack of practice, this leaves them devoid of their own original thoughts, and they often have difficulty applying these same thought processes later on in their academic careers. Teaching younger children how to read and interpret passages in subjective ways will help foster skill development for the rest of their lives. I also believe that it is never too young to teach children about plagiarism and why it is wrong. Teaching children how to use technology responsibly to be good digital citizens means that they need to understand the difference between right and wrong, uses of technology, and how this can impact others. They also need to learn the importance of intellectual property and copyright. If we establish these values in young children, they will have more of a moral basis when deciding whether or not to engage in academic dishonesty, especially in our ever-growing and tempting digital world. There are numerous resources, such as plagiarism.org, turnitup.com, Read, Write, and Think, that have lesson plans for teachers tailored to younger ages. I myself will be thinking about ways in which I can incorporate these lessons into my upcoming school year.